the 36 hour. This was beautiful 3 times 12 hours live streaming to you for 3 days with amazing 120 speakers and from 27 countries. I'm just so thankful and grateful for everyone who has been showing up here, empowering everyone. And I'm so grateful. And at the same time, sad, happy, everything, all the feelings coming to me to present you the last session of the summit. And this is an amazing summit with a lot of panelists, so I will not take up a lot of time because I want you to interact with them and engage with them in the chat and listen to what they have to share. So without further ado, let's bring up Ambreen, my friend who has been with us for years. Hi, Ambreen, how are you?
Hello, Andrea. And I'm so honored to be here again for the 3rd year in a row. And thank you so much for giving us this opportunity, creating this platform and gathering all those experts together. So thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you so much, Ambrina. You know that I appreciate you and thank you so much. You are also active part of the community and I'm really thankful for that. Let's bring up Novnish. Hi, Novnish. How are you today?
Hey, everyone. Hi, Andrea. Hi, Ambry. Nice to see you again for the 3rd time now for me. It's always a pleasure to be here and, to help and to really get things, excited and going.
Thank you so much, Novnish. And this year the concept was bring your friend, and Ambreen and Novnish took it very seriously. They brought 4 newbies to our beautiful panel, and we are really happy to bring them up. And let's bring up Karina first. Hi, Karina. How are you?
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm very honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being on this stage and for sharing your thoughts very, very soon. Let's bring up Shay. Hi, Shay. How are you today?
Hello, everybody. I'm fantastic. And again, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this. It's a pleasure. It's an honor.
Thank you so much. Let's go bring up Dr. Gina. Hi, Gina. How are you today?
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to be here today with all of you. It's such an honor to connect globally with everyone. So thank you.
And let's go to Munib. I see Munib, the last guest from Novnish and Ambreen. Hi, Munib. How are you today?
Hi, Andrea. Hi, everyone. I am doing well, and I'm so honored to be here. Thank you very much. I mean, this is my first time. Hopefully, it's not my last time. Thanks very much for having me to this panel discussion.
There's always only a first time with GS, then you stay with us because we don't go anywhere. Okay, and last but not least, let's bring up Jürgen, my beautiful friend from Germany, being here since the beginning for 4 years. And I just really wanna say hi to her. Hi, Jürgen.
Okay, hello from Germany. Good afternoon from here. And as Andrea already said, the 4th time in a row. So I'm very happy to be again with these beautiful people and look forward to our discussion.
Thank you so much. I will be leaving backstage, and Ambreen and Novnish, the stage is yours. I'm really happy to hear you, and I'm looking forward to this 45 minutes discussion, and then I will be popping up, at least my head, so that will be the time to wrap it up. So have a beautiful conversation. The stage is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much. And hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to the panel discussion. And our panel discussion is about how to building a network in a globalized work environment. This era is a global era of interconnectedness. And our panelists are distinguished in their fields, and they will be sharing their expertise and knowledge and the way they deal with the complexities of establishing a meaningful connection in this kind of globalized era. The discussion will help you to actually go beyond these boundaries of globalized distances. And this panel, I'm so grateful to each one of you because each one of you is bringing a wealth of knowledge, and this small group represents 4 continents. So this panel truly embodies the spirit of global networking because we are proudly representing 4 different continents within its diverse expertise and perspective. So
Yeah,
Navneesh, yeah.
sure. Yeah, thanks, Ambreen.
Yeah.
So I'll be the co-host together with Ambreen and hosting these wonderful panelists. And as Ambreen said, in today's really interconnected and rapidly evolving scape, the concept of networking has really exceeded geographical boundaries, really forming the foundation of success in a globalized world. And of course, really to navigate through this dynamic work environment shaped by globalizations, it's become much more crucial than ever. And really this panel discussion that we're going to have is really to help you unravel the intricacies of this network building in such a global world, and to give you these tools and knowledge that you need to really form these meaningful connections for you to succeed. Before we get started, let me just introduce myself. I'm going to ask Ambreen to introduce her quickly. So let me go first. So I'm a seasoned content marketer and a strategist, a global keynote speaker, an author, and Amazon bestseller. I've got a decade of experience in marketing. I'm based out of France, and I really bring a cross-functional, creative, results-oriented approach to work. Um, I'll hand it over to you, Ambreen, so you can shortly introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much. And of course, it's an honor to be co-hosting this panel with you, with such a seasoned marketeer and with a wealth of knowledge. So I'll just take a very short time, and a lot of people already know me. I'm Ambreen Nadeem, and I am a psychologist. I am a founder of Psychology Talks. I'm passionate about sharing the knowledge about mental health and raising awareness about mental health and preventing suicides. And I do share knowledge through my blogs, articles, podcast, and I'm also a keynote speaker. I've been participating in several global summits and on several speaking events. By profession, I'm a marketing research consultant. I have almost more than 15 years of experience and conducting researches for multinational companies to find out about their consumer psychology and to understand how the consumer behavior is evolving and to help them devise their marketing campaigns. So anyways, today we are here to discuss about the globalized networking. So let's start the discussion. And I will actually ask each one of you to give a little bit of introduction so our audience will get to know all of you a little better. So I'll start from Karina because she's on my first on my screen. So, yeah.
So hi everyone, I'm really happy to be here. I'm a professional certified international coach and mentor. I'm a speaker, trainer, and my main topics are mental health, personal development, and LinkedIn. I'm really happy to be here today.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Munib. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Munib Khalant. I work in IT. I'm the head of CRM at the City of Cape Town. But I think where my passion lies is to help others, especially introverts, grow in their career at work. And then also to build an online presence so that they can build their confidence and also feel comfortable showcasing their skills. So I'm a deeply introverted person, and I discovered that the only way to grow my career is to face my fears. And a big part of this is networking. Networking can be scary, but if you face your fears, then you're on the right track. So no matter how much we try to avoid networking, it's becoming increasingly more important in a global context. So I'm really excited to be part of this panel discussion and share my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Dr. Gina.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gina Anderson. I'm calling in from the United States, and my background is I study how people learn. I've spent my entire career looking at the human mind and the power of the human mind, and I co-own a learning company. We actually train truck drivers, and you can imagine there's truck drivers all around the world. But I'm very passionate about connecting globally to make a difference, and I firmly believe that together anything is possible. And I'm dedicated to that mission.
Okay, that's great. Very nice. Shay.
Thank you, Ambreen. My name is Shay Lynch. I'm CEO of a company called Future State, where we support company performance. We help companies improve their performance. I hail from Dublin, Ireland. And what I'm passionate about helping companies achieve performance and have a very systematic mechanism to achieve that. And I work with many companies locally and also globally. And I always talk about, if you want companies to perform, you need strong performing processes run by strong performing people, which is the subject of today, and that delivers strong performing results. There's no point in having great processes if they're not looked after by good people. And that choice, every company has the choice to have good people or not. It's their choice.
Amazing. Yeah. Dr. Jürgen.
Yeah, thank you, Ambreen. And my name is Jürgen Bubeck. I'm calling in from Germany. I'm a little bit different than the rest of the panel. I'm an employee of a very big global company, Boehringer Ingelheim. And I'm working there in the animal health unit, and I'm a global project leader. So for me, this topic is my day-to-day business. So I'm networking and communication challenges around the global world every day. And so my second passion beside animals is leadership and communication. And I look forward to our panel.
Great.
Wow, that's really great. I mean, the wealth of knowledge and experience that I see gathered around this panel is mind-blowing. Let's get things started, shall we? The first question will really be an open-ended question. You know, anyone can feel free to jump in and answer this. So in your experiences, how do you really define a globalized work environment? I mean, what are its key characteristics? Would anyone want to, jump in and answer that?
I can go ahead if you want to.
Sure.
To me, the first thing which pops in my mind is global communication. It's the communications for all the time zones worldwide, right? This is, for me, one of the main parts of it.
Mm-hmm. And I would add to that about having cultural intelligence in terms of understanding where people are at. And a specific example might be how we celebrate holidays, and really understanding that they're all different a lot of times. And we just have to have this unique understanding so we can connect with our teams.
Yeah. And awesome. what I love about this question, Navnish, is that I help companies all throughout the world, remotely, but also on site. And one of the most profound parts of companies that really excel is when they're so diverse, when they've got that diversity within their teams. And a simple example is, if I had a team of people who are like me, right? I'm only going to see one side of the coin all the time. I'll see a tunnel vision. I will never see the other sides of the coin. I'll never see what could go wrong if we do this. So the diversity element for me is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
And maybe to add, working in a research-driven company, research is not a national thing, it's an international thing. And that means research is mostly driven by people. And so it's a globalized world. And, when I'm working on a new project, I, from the very beginning, know that it will not be just for Germany, it will always be for the rest of the world.
Definitely. I mean, great. Yep, go ahead.
Just add a final point. Yes, I think everything nowadays is like interconnected. I mean, previously, a company could operate in isolation, but I mean that has changed so much. I mean, now you basically have an exchange, collaboration of information, resources, ideas across borders, and it's important to understand that that's just how it works in a globalized world.
I mean, those are great points, and especially that last one, Munib. You've mentioned a change that you've observed in work environments, and let me follow up that same question to the others here as well. So, what changes do you think have you observed in work environments, maybe from the past 5 years up to now?
I'm happy to start. Sorry, Carrie.
No, please. No,
I just want to say one of the major things what I observe is the speed of everything. Yeah. So because of the technical developments, time has a new time you define time now differently than before. I'm a baby boomer. I grew up naive on computer and mobile phones. For some people, that's unbelievable that such a world has existed. Yeah. But where we are now, and also seeing the stages of development, which are faster and faster, I think that's very something that we have to adapt very quickly now to new situations.
Definitely. Karina, you were about to say something?
Yes, I would like to add that we now have a much broader talent pool, right? It's not anymore about demographics. So that's, for me, one of the main parts, also the multiple languages we're talking in. And we're doing our business, and also from anywhere in the world.
Yeah. I would add too, so my focus is learning. And one thing we've seen from a learning standpoint is before, everything most of the time was delivered same way, same method, same medium to everyone. But as we know right now, all of us, we can do this synchronously. There's people today watching, but from all over the world, they can go and access this content anywhere. So we're definitely in a time where we should be very sensitive to the different methods and means that we can do and deliver learning.
And again, just to add to all that as well, like we talk about global, but I know where I live in Ireland, we have a multi-cosmopolitan. We've got so many cultures in such a small country. So we're diverse in itself on a local scale. So we get to learn cultures very, very well in our country. So you're not just communicating with people from Ireland, from Asia, in Asia. I'm working with them day in, day out.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe just to also add, I mean, we can also see that in our products. I mean, for example, if you look at a phone, I mean, the phone is designed in the US, it's built in China, it's shipped out globally. So, I mean, so that globalization affects everything that we actually see.
Yeah. I think these are the amazing points that each one of you have shared here. Like the world has become more closer, and like we are more connected, more than ever. It was like, as Jürgen has said, that people like the younger generation can't even think that there was time that people were unable to connect, or there were no phone, or even the phone with that kind of the cradle. So the world is changing very rapidly, and the good part is that they're bringing everyone together. So moving on to the other question, that especially when the world has become so closely knitted or closely connected, how do you build a rapport with the diverse group, especially in the global context? I think Shay would be a better person to answer this, because he seems to be an expert in this arena.
Thanks, Ambreen. Well, the first thing I'd like to say about rapport, before we get on to the cultural side of things, is rapport for me is the number one thing everybody in every business should be focusing on, right? Because when I work with companies, when I see companies that gel together, where all the people work well together, the synergy, that's where the magic happens in business, right? Before you can build that in the business, you need to develop rapport. You need to be open to connect with other people. And when I'm hiring, or when I'm encouraging people to hire people who have that mindset as well, that have a growth mindset, number one. But if we bring it back into today's conversation, to have a growth mindset when it comes to cultural intelligence. Because here's the thing, when we start to build rapport, how we act, how our body language, how our tone of voice, everything works a certain way. And we always talk about congruency in that. But here's the thing, when it comes to the cultural side of things, when I shake hands in Ireland with somebody, like we're very strong on eye contact, firm handshake. That feels like we really want to meet this person. But if this is somewhere else in the world, it depends on the hierarchy of people, of why. So it's important to be curious and understand when people don't respond the way you think they should. It's not because it's disrespectful, and it's important to be open-minded. And I've been lucky enough to work in many different places around the world and have learned all the nuances from cultures, and it's so diverse. But here's the thing, I don't know it all. So one of the key points I say is when it comes to culture, is to be curious, really be curious and ask questions. One of the great strategies to build rapport with people is to focus on them. Don't talk about yourself. learn about them, be curious, let them talk about themselves, be interested in who they are.
Yeah, that's a very good point, actually, especially when we are dealing with people across the globe. Like maybe in your culture, the same thing is taken as a very positive, but in another culture could be taken as a negative. Like as you mentioned, especially about the handshake. If I give you the example from our, like Middle East or like Saudi Arabia, like especially the handshake, like male and female interaction is not that much closely. So like it's if you try to shake hand with if a male is trying to shake hand with female, it wouldn't be taken as a positive way. So these are the things that we need to be to have that in our mind, because if you don't know this, you might take it as a negative thing, right? So I think you just brought in a very good point that we need to actually observe more, listen to them more, and to understand that it is not because of there is something wrong with that, but it's just the difference of the culture. It's just the difference between of the tradition, and like considering all these nuances and the varied communication styles. So what specific actions or initiatives one can contribute to successfully establishing and maintaining a rapport among the team members? Like, as you mentioned, that we need to understand them, but still we need to bring the team together to work in a way that it doesn't create more friction.
Yeah. Well, if I'll go first,
sure.
but I'd be curious to hear everybody else's thoughts as well. Like
Yeah.
again, I travel a lot, Amberine. So if I'm traveling to somewhere in Asia, and say for example Japan, I would talk to some of my Japanese colleagues here and get some advice from them. And I've been lucky enough to spend time with Japanese companies and in their place. And they're very different than Irish people, Amberine. So even like tolerance of ambiguity is a big one, right? In Ireland, if we say we'll be there in 5 minutes, do not expect us in 5 minutes, right? Right? That's just who we are. We're very open as a culture, which is good and bad. And by the way, there's no right or wrong. But in Japan, if you say you'll be there in 5 minutes, you're there in 4 minutes, 55 seconds, right? And you're on time. But also in terms of going back to the rapport element of it, if I want to build a relationship with somebody, I need to know the starting point. So again, in Ireland, we talk about if you want to build a relationship, if someone's going to get you to do a task in business, they build a relationship first before they can trust you to do the task, right? But again, in certain countries is they have to see how good you are at the task before they can build a relationship with you. So knowing the starting point of where you start interacting with some cultures is very, very important.
Yeah, that's very true.
Definitely. And I mean, as you both mentioned and others as well, these cultural nuances, I mean, you mentioned, Amri, in the Middle East of yours. I mean, I have an Indian heritage. So in India, we put our hands together and we do this. It's similar to Japan. As you mentioned, Shay, it's different. And even in terms of communications, I mean, I'm French. And in France, when we talk and we want to get to something, we go round and round. But for example, in Germany, Jürgen, and also in Holland, people are really direct. They don't like going around the bush. And so really getting to know and understand communication styles and and cultural nuances are a challenge. And talking about challenges, I think my next question will be aimed for Dr. Gina. And Dr. Gina, you've had a lot of experience in hiring and onboarding individuals. What challenges did you face, or in general, does an individual face when hiring? Could you maybe go into detail on that?
Yeah, I would say the first thing is kind of bouncing off what you're all talking about is understanding a culture and really knowing what is going to be a hurdle before you even get there. You don't even know. So like, for example, we recently just hired into Canada, working with a company to really understand not only the HR specific litigation compliance laws that you need to align to, but really understanding what it's going to be like to have an employee in that area. For example, access is a concern when you think about access to different technologies, access to specific compliance, maybe that's different than what you have in your own country. So I recommend for our hiring, we have employees in different countries. We have in India as well, is just really understanding, connecting, like what Shay said, with organizations that have that experience that can help you understand from a employer standpoint what the hurdles may be and help you overcome those hurdles. Because without those partnerships and without that collaboration and connecting across the globe, you're just limited by your own perspectives and your own knowledge. And so I think that's what's so powerful. Like for us, even us together connecting, is really getting these unique understandings of the different countries that you're going to be in, because you don't know before you go, right? And you start hiring. So it's really important to understand that.
Yeah, I mean, those are some great perspectives, Sheena. And just to follow up on that, you mentioned briefly some of these challenges, how they can be overcome. What are some other, best practices or things that you've seen to overcome these challenges from your point of view?
Yeah, so the first thing I would say is really connecting with the specific person that you're going to hire and ask them specifically what their needs are and really what their expectations are and how those align to your own expectations. Because I think a lot of times as you're entering into these different countries, you may have an expectation, like Shay kind of pointed out, but you don't really understand where the employee is coming from. And so that is a really important, I say, suggestion, is really connecting with the person that you want to hire and really understand what their needs are and what they are looking to accomplish, and make sure that you're aligned with that, because that starts to build that relationship so that you can move forward together.
Yeah. I mean, these are amazing. I mean, it's actually fascinating to see that how one person sitting at the one corner of the world, it can be interacting with the other person. And I feel that, the role of technology is very crucial, because if we go back like 50 years ago, there was no technology and there was no way of communicating from the people who are maybe just one country away. But now you can see, like, we are connected from different parts of the continent, and yet it's like smoothly commenting and answering questions. So here the technology has helped us a lot. So now my question is that in this world of, especially when the technology is emerging very rapidly, what is the role of technology now helping or creating a challenge, especially in creating a network? And I think this question will be, Munib can answer this question very well, because he has the expertise in this background. So what do you think?
Thanks, Amrit. So I think technology has definitely changed, like, I mean, in the last couple of years. I mean, we always talk about the pre-COVID era and the post-COVID era. The COVID has definitely accelerated the shift away from in-person networking events to online networking events, remote work, virtual interactions. And I mean, the digital platforms is increasingly become more important. But I mean, but this also means that the strategies to networking has changed. I mean, this means effectively that you have to communicate better. You have to present yourself in a virtual environment. You have to understand the nuances of digital etiquette. You have to leverage the online tools to track and manage connections. And then also, I mean, I think as you can see by all the panel speakers, I mean, everybody's building a personal brand. And I mean, you have to maintain that strong online presence to ensure that you basically bring yourself well across. But then also on the flip side, your digital footprint is around for much longer. So there's also something that you have to be wary about. But I think what is important when you actually use technology is that before you even start networking and using technology, I think the important thing for me is trying to understand why do you actually want to network? If you understand why you want to network, for example, is it to get a new job? Is it to get new clients? Is it to showcase your work? Then you can also try and understand what tools or online platforms you can actually use. And then similarly, I mean, from a networking perspective, I mean, in the real world, you wouldn't just walk up to a person and you would basically just ask them for help. So similarly, I mean, I think one of the other I think Shay mentioned it. I mean, you have to build that relationship. I mean, it's about building relationships, just like you do in the offline world. Um, and I mean, sometimes this can be challenging, but I mean, if you understand why you need to network and if you're genuinely curious, trying to actually be interested in somebody else, then it definitely makes it easier. I think that the biggest difference between offline networking events is that now you're not limited to your city anymore. I mean, we've basically got uh, panelists coming from 4 different continents. So now you can actually tap into the world, but the principle of networking effectively remains the same.
Yeah. I really love this your perspective that that you need to know why you are networking, and you should have like proper agenda before like going to network with anyone. And if I see this, like the comparison between online and offline is like when you go and have a tea with someone, you might have a little agenda, but then you start talking about other things as well. But when you are meeting with someone online, you just don't go and ask different things. Like you are sticking more to the agenda, and then that's it. So I think that's one thing you highlighted very rightly here. As you mentioned that there are some tools and platforms you should be using. So could you highlight that what are the best ways and what are the specific tools one can use to effective global networking?
So I think it comes back to the first point where I mentioned that, I mean, if you understand why you want to network, then, I mean, these specific tools online that you can actually leverage for that. So, for example, if you're looking for a job, LinkedIn is probably your go-to tool. But I mean, if you're looking to learn graphic design or programming, I mean, there's collaboration. There's basically communities like, for example, GitHub or Dribble that you can use. I mean, that's still effectively networking. So you shouldn't be limited to the mainstream networking tools. But I mean, look for something that is specific that will actually meet your goals, and I think that's the best way to approach it. And then I think that also helps you to, besides expanding your network, but I think because it's in your line of field, it's your passion, that actually also builds your confidence too. So it allows you to actually explore other platforms.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really interesting because in the past, let's say 4 years ago, we were in COVID, right? We were only doing online networking, using platforms and trying to build relations and stuff. But now we're back to the normal, and we've got an opportunity to really balance online and offline marketing. And my next question is towards you, Dr. Jurgen. I mean, we all know the importance of online and offline networking, right? While online platforms are essential, how important do you think is face-to-face networking in a global context?
Thanks for that question. The point is, I come a little bit from a different perspective. As said, I'm not an entrepreneur, so I'm an employee of a global company doing global project management. And the speaker before have already mentioned, COVID changed the landscape completely. Yeah, so not only for networking this way, but also for people then starting to work from home. Yeah, and most of us were not prepared for that. Let's be honest. Yeah. And I know that depression, and Karina will talk about that in the next step, I think. But, in Germany, we have the highest depression rate ever. Psychologists and psychotherapists, you have waiting times for 6 months minimum just to get one appointment. So the thing is, people obviously were not prepared for that, and they missed something. And interestingly, even in particular, young people have the highest depression rate, not older ones. Young people, where you think they're anyway only online. But anyway, so I just want to say, in a global project management world, I have development timelines from 6 to 10 years. Yeah, so a project between idea and it becomes to launch in the market is a very long time. Yeah. And the better the team works personally with each other, the better is the outcome. Because when a team is really challenged, it's not when it's running smoothly. It's when we have a setback, when you have a failure, and how do the people react, and how can we keep momentum and act very fast. And for this, I'm really grateful that in my company, at least my core teams, we can meet at least 2 times a year face to face, and this is really, really making a difference. Going out for a drink and just talking about family and other things, that is what I say really networking, that to create this team spirit, and that we also succeed in negative, in failure times and so on. We always said we learn only from failures, but failures cannot be handled in an online meeting. So they need really a deep discussion, a good glass of wine, and this kind of stuff. So this is why I said, okay, hopefully we will never stop that, even not with KI, but and keep on with artificial intelligence. So I really hope it will stay.
No, definitely. You struck a point there. People have become more and more important, the well-being of them. And honestly, having a drink from now on time to time, it really makes a difference. And following up on that, how do you think individuals can strike this balance between online and offline networking efforts?
I think there's a difference between when you are an employee and you have to network, it's part of your business, and those pieces, which you do voluntarily, just as some of the other speakers have tried to express already. So for me, the balance is, is more than I'm online more or less most of the day, and I'm very much offline when I'm not working, because I just have enough. So I think the point is just, for me, and I guess that's also for many others, is, I'm working very globally, but in the evening, I'm very national, I'm very regional, I'm very personal. And this is the balance I need to move on. And maybe one point, what Gina just said in her part, if you allow me to say that, is why is face-to-face networking also so important? I don't know whether you all observe the same thing, but for me as a baby boomer, I grew up, loyalty was an asset. Loyalty to a company was a major thing. Nowadays, we hire someone, we are happy if this person stays 2 years or 3 years. So the investments we have, the payback can be zero when the people leave too early. What I observe in my world is the closer you can bind to people, the longer they are willing to stay and see opportunities within the company.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the world has become so digitized because we are so much accustomed to using our digital platform, and sometimes that the pressure to use more digital network or a digital platform takes a toll on us, because sometimes we are pressured to be online all the time, and it has some negative effects on mental health. So I think my next question will be directed to Karina, because she is actively helping people on especially mental health. So how, especially in this kind of environment when we are pressured to be online networking and we are missing that in-person touch, so how to maintain mental health in this kind of environment?
First of all, there is a profound impact on mental health. On the one side, it facilitated a lot greater awareness and understanding of mental health issues. However, what I feel, the constant connectivity comes with a lot of drawbacks. So the instant stream of information, and it leads to an absolutely information overload, I feel.
Yeah.
And we all have this pressure to stay connected and the fear of missing out. And this can really disrupt your personal life balance, I feel, which can lead to burnout and other mental health issues. Yeah. So the problem is individuals are often unable to disconnect and also to decompress. In summary, it opened the new work experience and the impact, it opened up new avenues for support and awareness, but it also introduced us to unique challenges, I feel, around mental health.
Yeah, that's very true. That it's it has done some positive part also, because a lot of people get more awareness about mental health, and as we've been actively creating more awareness about these mental health issues, so people are more aware of it and they are taking their mental well-being more seriously. So, but it's still what do you think? What are the strategies one can adapt to maintain the mental well-being, especially in this kind of environment where so much emphasis is on using digital platforms, and which takes away the in-person interaction. So,
well. You mean, yes. Well, there are, what you said, a lot of positive impacts. I mean, we have a lot of diverse perspectives and flexible work arrangements and stuff like that. But however, the same interconnectedness can also lead a lot to stress and anxiety. This constant expectation of being available is a lot of stress for all of us. So I think setting clear boundaries on the work time and also disengage from work on regular base helps. And I really liked what Jürgen just said: get together with your family and put your phone away. No one, it doesn't matter how important you are, no one needs to be connected to work all the time. So also a mindfulness use of the technology, like email-free time. We do not need to check our emails every 2 minutes. You know what I mean? So, and also, I mean, a simple thing could be to prioritize mental health at work. It should be encouraged, right? So I think by implementing these, the modern workplace really could leverage from the benefits.
Yeah.
That's really great, and I really love your perspective on that, Karina. And honestly, I want to come back to something that we touched upon before. I think many of you did that, and it's about these cultural nuances, language barriers, and all of that. I want to open that up to the wider panel here. And a question that I have for all of you is: could you maybe share certain instances where understanding cultural nuances has played a significant role in successful networking? Maybe. I mean, I'm gonna pick Jürgen here because he's the first one on my screen. Could you share something from your experience, Jürgen, about this?
You know, we talk a lot about cultural differences, but we have many experts here. I would say that even the inter-individual aspects should not be forgotten. Yeah, because what COVID shared us is, we are very open-minded. We can easily express ourselves. We have an opinion. We are not. We have no fear to share. But still, people have a lot of problems with opening up and telling their opinion. And one example, I would say, in a global project, I got a project planner, and this person was introduced to me, new in the company, perfect and excellent references and so on. And in the first meeting, silence, nothing, all the time, nothing. Yeah. And then I said, okay, there's a communication problem. Yeah. What is it? And so I arranged a face-to-face and of course online meeting with her, and we discussed 1.5 hours just openly about her past and so on. And I just said, I feel you are a jewel, you are a diamond. I need you in my team, but you have to show up and talk and share your knowledge with us. And it took 2 more sessions, and now she's phenomenal, and she feels respected, heard, and the others all on a sudden realize, oh my God, what an excellent person and knowledge. So this is the thing. Sometimes you just, and Shay talked about it beforehand, individual interaction is still the first thing before you can really work on a team.
Yeah, that's very good. I think we are actually getting close to closing our show. So I would actually ask each one of you to share the action point for our audience today is that what one advice would you like to give to our audience today, that how to network effectively globally? So yeah, who will go first?
I would just
Okay.
throw in. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Okay, Monique.
I would just throw. Sorry.
Okay, so let's say Munib wanted to go first. So let's, Munib, you can share your advice.
Yeah, so sorry, Karin. So
No,
I think
no
what I've mentioned before is that, I mean, just try and understand why you want to network. And then once you understand why you want to network, then you can choose the right
Very good.
platform, whether it's online or offline.
Okay, that's a great advice. Yeah, Dr. Gina, you were also
Yeah.
actually wanted to say.
I was going to say, really, and we talked a lot about the individual, it's really building trust with the individual and listening to that individual. You really have to understand that person at the core of their soul to really be able to move them forward and to move together forward.
Yeah, that's brilliant advice. Yeah, Karina, sorry, you want to just say something. Yeah.
I would just throw in to educate yourself, learn about the cultures, and learn about the persons you're working with and you want to connect with.
Yeah.
And if you let me add something also, I would have said the same like Gina. So trust it's all about trust. And the other thing is what many people missed. Active listening is a real skill which so many people have lost. Just listen. Don't interact. Don't just wait till this person is ready with what they want to say and then react. So
the superpower, Dr. Jürgen, listening. It truly is. And I would have said what Munib said about being purposeful in what you do, right, and why you're doing it. But I would like to say something. My next point would be to stay curious, be curious with different cultures, right? But one thing that many of you touched on today, when you have developed a relationship, I believe it's very important to understand the communication styles to avoid conflict, because in Ireland, we're very loose. If I'm giving feedback, we'll go around, like Novanish said in France, we go around, we're not very direct. So we may take it personally if people say something direct to us. So be mindful of, it's not a conflict, it's just their communication style.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what a wonderful discussion we had, and I learned a lot from whatever like you've shared here. What I feel is that, especially when we are networking in a global environment, we have to make use of the technology and use some platform, something. So what sometimes a lot of people miss is because they may be waiting for the opportunity to come, like, because in person, especially when you used to go to a work environment, to office, like networking wasn't taken as a task. But now, since we have to network, it is kind of a task as well. And that goes back when the Manish said that you need to know the objective. You need to have the objective, you need to have the intentions to connect with someone. And then you need to, again, write down that, okay, what exactly, this is your objective, with whom you want to connect. And then what Shay and Dr. Gina said, that, you need to know exactly, you need to learn more about the culture, about the people, and then trust, and then move on. And if I'm just summarize what Karina and Dr. Jürgen said, that, never actually be too much focused on just online. Take some time off also for yourself, because sometimes when we take the networking as a task, it actually takes away the fun of networking. Because there used to be the times, especially before COVID, like meeting with people in person is much more fun than meeting online. These Zoom meeting, it does have its own positive aspect, but it takes away the fun, it takes away the energy. Because when you actually meet with the person, there are certain interpersonal exchange of energy which is not very much there. So I think that's what exactly, like, I feel that I summarize my perspective. I think Novanish can shed some light on it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I just mean I'm aware of the time now, but
Yeah.
honestly, thank you very much, everyone, for your time and for your energy and for your knowledge and perspectives. And I just want to say before we close off this, do feel free to go into the YouTube link that we'll share with you, because there's been a lot of questions that were asked,
Yeah.
and so do go in, answer those questions at your own leisure. And it's been fun. Looking forward to doing this again next year, hopefully.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, everyone. It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure. It's been an
Thank
honor.
you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I mean, it was really the kind of knowledge that you brought in here from the different perspective. It's amazing. I'm sure these like 30, like 40 to 50 minutes is mind blowing. Like you learn from different expert from around the globe. So thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, expertise, and enlightening our audience.
And just let me add, Ambreen and Novish, thanks for preparing this session. Without you, we couldn't have this wonderful discussion. And also, please celebrate Andrea, because we are probably the last session, I understood.
Yeah.
So I think it's also up to us to give a very special thank you to Andrea.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I think we have a time, or because then we can share something more.
I think you can have 4 more minutes. I will give you 4 more minutes.
Okay, that's great. So I will just add that, especially when before COVID, this networking as a global wasn't very much in fashion. And it used to be taken as especially the Zoom meeting and everything, very seriously. But now people are very comfortable, and they're more acceptable that this is just life. I remember on watching BBC when there was a live expert, and there was a baby came in the room. I think that legendary. And now I think it's very much it's okay to have these kind of incident. People don't say, oh my God, what happened? So I in those last 4 minutes, I would request anyone to share any kind of humorous incident which you have during the networking meeting, especially online.
I can just add to what you said, because one of my global core team members from marketing, she just became mother. She's back at work, but her baby is more or less in every meeting because of the US time difference. We have to do it late afternoon, early evening German time. And she said, I'm sorry, I have to have it with me. And we always said, it's our lucky charm now. Yeah. Because when he's with us, normally the mood is good. We are very straightforward. We are on time. And so it's just perfect. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
Anyone I'd love to share a story. We had long time ago, we had a Japanese CEO of a very global, I won't mention the name of the company, global Japanese company, was over doing some work with us in Ireland, and it was the first project they've had in Europe. So he came, so we took him out for a pint of Guinness, but I believe some Asians are missing an enzyme to break down alcohol. So he was very tipsy after one drink. I had to bring him home in a taxi. So that was a big learning for me as well. Maybe I should have got him a Guinness Zero.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. Anyone else would like to share? Yeah.
For me, it was I got a puppy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And yes, and I used to live several years in Shanghai, and I had a meeting with a CEO from a Shanghai company, and I had to take this puppy because I couldn't leave it somewhere. So I tried to hide the puppy, and I was trying to press it down with my hand. And then he just said, lay back, and he said, you know what? I also have a dog. He knew immediately. So that was super funny. And instead of being embarrassed, it was just a funny thing, funny moment. Yeah, so it happens.
Yeah, I think pets have become very much more accepted now. Everyone has their pets, whether it's a lizard or a dragon or,
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
Yeah, you get to learn all sorts of things about people's pets.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. So yeah,
I think throughout the summit, we also had some birds. We had dogs. We had some kids.
yeah,
We had, of course, husbands and wives, and
yeah.
I had a party just next to me, like a very loud neighbor had a party.
Oh,
So we had all sorts of things. I think it's just
yeah,
become normal. Like it should be
yeah.
normal. I mean, life is not about hiding things. Life is about living things as we are and accepting each other. So such a
Yeah,
good
Exactly.
point
yeah.
bringing it up.
Yeah, yeah. I would also like to share just a small incident what happened to me. Like I remember I had run the campaign on like preventing suicide and something, and I was conducting a live show with the expert from the. It was not a panel discussion, but like the two other experts joining from the globe. And then it was such a serious discussion, and then all of a sudden my son, like who was a 6-year-old, came and said, "Mama, I need something." I was like, it was such a serious topic, and I couldn't stop, I mean, stop smiling. But then of course these things happen, I had to go on, and I was like this it, and then my son came and then he joined, and I remember that sometimes it happened with you also when I was doing in the last summit, I guess, when we were about to close the session. My son came, he was young, he just said hi to everyone. And so, the youngest one, I always say to him, like, you are always an intruder in all my live shows and something. But I think has become a new normal, and people know that this is life. It's like we are human. We are not just one aspect of the personality. And that's what exactly when we are networking with the other person, we need to keep in mind that the other person is not just one aspect of that personality. He or she embodies every other aspect of the life as well, and we need to accept it. That's one thing. So yeah.
So thank you so much. I have to close up. We are going to the networking room now to
Sure.
close the party. Hope you are coming and you will be there at
Okay.
least for a little while. And then we are
Yeah.
celebrating this. And next year there are big plans. The fifth
Yeah.
Global Empowerment Summit is coming,
Wow.
all about well-being and mental health and the
I'm so
future, how it
excited.
looks like. So I'm really excited. I thank you for everyone who is here for the first time. Hope you stay with us and you stick around and come every year and bring your friends, and then they bring their friends, and then it's an endless, continuous, beautiful circle of life. Thank you so much for being here today, Ambreen and Novnish.
Thank you.
So
Thank
thankful,
you.
and also
you.
for the
Thank you.
panelists for being here. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much.
Have a
Bye.
great day.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.